Um, I hope you're able to see both me and CP. Yeah. So thank you for joining us. And this webinar is about giving you a detailed project presentation about the Together community, which is a residential project for adolescents and adults with autism as well as with other special needs. I'm Sangeeta Chakrapani, and I'm associated with Together Foundation. I've been the founder member since 2015. 2015, starting Together Foundation was established in Bombay, and we run a sheltered workshop where people with autism as well as with other special needs, they train with us, and they work in a variety of areas. They derive training in an earn and learn work environment. And our journey began with our own daughters. By my side is my husband, Chakrapani, whom we all know as CP. And both of us are parents to two girls with autism. They are 19 years old, Lakshmi and Jayanti. We also have two more children who are neurotypical and who attend college in both Bombay. One of them is in Bombay and one is in Bangalore. And this project began several years ago when we tried to answer the question of where our daughters will settle down. Where our daughters will settle down, where they will live as they grow older. Though we have I think I got muted. Am I audible, Rahul? Yeah, great. So, as I was saying, that this journey of residential living, trying to find the answers for where our daughters will live once they grow up, this started several years ago when our children were around 8 to 9 years old. And we realized that they cannot continue in school anymore, and academics was no longer an option for them. And when we tried to answer the question of what are they going to do next, we also had to answer not only the question of what they're going to do next, but I also looked at what is going to happen 10, 15 years from now when they are 20, 25 years old. And as we age, what is going to be their area of safety, security, where they will be happy, where they will have companionship, and they will have people who will care for them, who will know them, where they can lead meaningful lives. I didn't see myself going with them from place to place to place. I wanted to find a place where we could settle down, where we could live there peacefully and happily for the rest of our lives. So that's when the search began, and both CP and I started this whole project of residential living. And simultaneously, I founded Together Foundation at Bombay. And CP is with HDFC Bank, and he will be speaking shortly and introducing himself. And so just want to give you a small introduction to myself and what is my role here. And eventually what happened is we visited several residential projects across India, and people were very helpful. All the people who are running projects today in the country for residential living, we have met all of them. We have visited them repeatedly to understand their model. And in the process, we ourselves tried to understand what is the model that we wanted, which we felt would work in the long run. So this went on for more than 8 to 9 years. And along the way, we discovered that we needed a very strong hand of partnership to help us to create this project. Because when you look at creating a residential project for people with autism, one is the specific disability specific requirements. Having mental health professionals, having autism professionals, having very specific programs for meaningful engagement for people with autism, having a good behavior modification team in place. All these are disability specific services. Apart from that, you have common services for both that both the parents and children will need. So which is food, which is security, which is having a community area where we can all meet and interact, having a good place to exercise and to walk around, having a place where our children can go out and see other people and not be limited only to the world of their caregivers and their parents, giving them a place where they can peek into the world outside. So when you look at creating all these facilities, we also realized that we needed somebody to hold our hands. We needed somebody to help us to see this through. And that's when we started contacting several organizations that provide services for senior citizens, because we realized that there is a lot of commonality between the project for the senior citizens and project for people with special needs. And that's when Vedanta Senior Living entered our lives. This was a few years ago. And over the period of the it'll be put up in the chat box. All our resources are going to be put up in the chat box. You can take them down before the end of the webinar. And they joined us, and it is with them that we started the journey of seriously establishing a project for people with autism. And we first zeroed in on a site which is at North Bangalore, what is popularly known as Chikkabellapur. And the project was announced. It was a beautiful place where we had created the project. We launched the project. Several parents joined us. And it was something of a very big shock and a very big, obstacle came up in our path when mining and quarrying work, illegal mining and quarrying work started in that area in North Bangalore, where we had announced the project of the Together community. And that is when we did two things. We divided ourselves into two parts. One part of the organization worked on trying to find out whether this site in North Bangalore could somehow be secured for the purpose of creating this project. And on the other hand, Vedanta hit the ground running, and they started exploring, if this doesn't work out, where are we going to go? What is the other place where we're going to establish the community? The reason why we started searching for an alternative space, the moment we found out that there's a problem, is that when you look at residential living for people with autism or special needs, it's very different from any other property investment that we have ever made in our lives. Because this is
Yes,
Yes, Sangeeta. You blacked out for a minute.
Thank you, Rahul. So, as I said, that this is a place where parents are going to leave everything that is known to them. The place where they have lived all their lives, they're going to uproot themselves. They're going to uproot their children who are attending vocational training centers, who are going to school, who are going to different places. They're going to uproot them, and they're going to move here. And why are they going to do that? Because parents realize that they're aging. They realize that their children are growing older. And all of us as parents want a place where we are assured that after our lifetime, I'm sorry, I'm seeing a message. So could you please reshare Mrs. Sangeeta Chakapani's number? Yeah. So where we are assured that our children will be safe, even when we are not there. Where we are assured that when we are not there, their natural mother and father may not be there, but somebody else's mother is there. someone else's father is there. Someone from Vedanta is there. Someone from Together Foundation is there. There are 3 circles of security which we have built around our children. Why? To ensure that when we are not there, we don't have even 1% doubt that our children will be taken care of. This is the reason why when we realized that there was a problem in the Chikkabellapur site, we did not waste a single day, not even 24 hours. So Vedanta started scouting for sites. And in the meantime, we started meeting a whole lot of people, environmental specialists, legal, experts, to find out, is there any way in which this North Bangalore site can be secured? But we found that stopping the mining and quarrying work, there was absolutely no guarantee. So if their license was renewed, which had been, they had not mined for more than 15 years, mind you. But if they got a renewal of license, they could mine and quarry there for 15 years starting from now. So you can imagine the kind of damage that could do to all of us as parents and the futures of our children, the kind of health risk that we would be exposing them to. So it was with a very heavy heart that we brought a halt to that project. And in the meantime, as I said, Vedanta started scouting for sites. And we explored many places. And we were very fortunate, I would say, because I have been in Bangalore for more than a month. At the time when all this happened, I relocated to Bangalore with my daughters. And I stayed put there for a month with both Lakshmi and Jayanti. And we're very fortunate that we found a very beautiful, safe, and I would say a place filled with potential where we can, set up this project. So this project is based in Hosur, which is popularly known as Greater Bangalore. It's on the border of Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. It's around 20 kilometers from Electronic City. I have been there several times with my daughters, seen the place. And my initial impressions as a mother, then only it comes to project and things like that. First, I have to be happy with it as an individual, as a person, as a mother. For my daughters, do I see myself living there? Do I see my daughters living there? Do I see them being happy there? Do I see them having a potential to grow there? I would say yes. So it is fairly close to the township. It's fairly close to the marketplace. It's very close to hospitals, to shopping, to going out for a bite to eat. All these things to a neurotypical person are very small things. What's the big deal if there's an Adyar Anand Bhavan close by? There are so many in the city. But as parents of people with special needs, we know how important it is for us to be able to get into a car or get into any vehicle and to be able to reach a restaurant in 20 minutes makes a very big difference to us, because we are also aging and our children are not the same all the time. Sometimes they cooperate with us, sometimes they don't cooperate with us. Some of us have children with behavior issues, some of us have children with mobility issues. So accessibility is a very big part of our lives, both inside the campus and outside the campus. So that's how the project came about in Hosur. It's a wonderful project. We have a lot of neighbors there. We'll take you through the brochure now. This is just to give you a bird's eye view of what has happened so far. I have taken you quickly through the journey. I put my number down in the chat box. You can reach out to me anytime. I put down the Vedanta numbers on the chat box. And now I will request CP to introduce himself. I will request Mr. Anand from Vedanta to speak to you briefly. I will ask Mr. Rahul Sabharwal to speak to you briefly. All of us will speak to you for a couple of minutes each, and then we will start the project presentation, because it's very important that you should know the people behind the project. So we will start now. CP?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Chakrapani. As Sangeeta was mentioning, I work with HDFC Bank. I've been associated with Together Foundation as a role of a mentor, guide. And in this project, me and Sangeeta have, as Sangeeta was explaining, we started exploring various residential projects to see what are the models they have, what type of projects are they running, what are the best possible inputs we can take from them, and what model will suit in a long run. One or two principles which came along was that anything has to be driven by a parent community, which is very important from a longevity point of view. Second important point is as special needs children, we need to give them a lot of open spaces to make them physically move around, a lot of greenery. The third item, and when you talk about greenery, open spaces, what comes naturally is that you're going to move away from the city center, move away from the habitation. That is where you will get affordable land parcels. So we need to marry between balance between the greenery thing and it being accessible to habitation and accessible basic services. Fourth point is that we can always set up a community which is only related to special adults, only related to autism, and their parents living in a community in a community, but you will not be connected with the larger part of the world, where you won't be able to see other people who are living around. So the idea was whenever we create such a community, we should be part of a larger community. As Sangeeta was mentioning, saying that we then said that this project of this thought, the best alignment can happen through when somebody is developing a senior living, because the care which is required for senior living and the care which is required for special living will somewhere be more or less same with additional care which is required for special living. What will definitely match 100% is parents of special adults will also go senior and they will become senior citizens. Those services will be very easily doable. I think the project in Hosur, which you're going to showcase and also take you through, it is in a 45-acre larger community, which is called the Sri Shankara Colony, where even Vedanta is going to have senior living community in that same complex. So as I was mentioning, the idea was that when we set up anything, part of a together community should be in the larger part of larger community and able to access the services. I think we have this project which has been there relocated to Hosur sometime in the month of March. I think we already had a very good response from various parents. We have while we'll take you through the details of the project, I don't want to steal the thunder out of giving every information now. Then there will be nothing to talk when we actually showcase the presentation. But that's the small part of it. I now ask Anand and Rahul.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Anand Patnanaban, and I'm the founder of Vedanta Senior Living. Today, Vedanta Senior Living we founded in 2015. Today, we are happy to say that our 7th community is going on stream on 1st of June. In addition to that, we have 5 more communities under development. Today, we can see we are one of the top 5 senior living communities in India. And personally, I have been associated with Serene when senior living industry has been just started in South India. I've been associated with Serene as a director. Between Serene and Vedanta, I've seen more than 20 communities from the start to completion, commencement of services, managing seniors. And my daughter Shreya is also associated with Vedanta, and Rahul is one of the co-founders of this company. And together between Rahul and myself, I think we have a lot of experience in building communities also. Not only the senior living side, normal communities, development of projects. So I think along with Sangeeta and Chakrapani, we are very, very happy to connect with them and build this project. Even though we do multiple projects in senior living, this is one of the emotionally we are connected to this project because this is really something what we are going to do, something we want to do, something which is best for the adults. So as a team, Vedanta is fully committed to ensure this project is very, very successful. Over to Rahul for giving some details about the project, more details about the project. Thank you.
Thank you, Anand. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rahul Sabarwal. We have been associated with the Together community, I think, over 2 years to build the project, right from designing the project to ensuring that all needs of special adults are taken care of. So we've chosen the site in terms of what kind of site we needed, what kind of houses we needed, what kind of areas that needed to be developed. There's a lot of thought that has gone into the project, as well as, we work together and we will showcase that as we move ahead. So we look forward to, like Siti said, we've got a good overwhelming response when we started the project in Nandi Hills. And we are now looking forward to, starting the execution of project. Incidentally, we are breaking ground next Sunday and should be on our way. The construction starts before the end of this month. So we are looking at a mid-2025 delivery of the project, and we'll share the details as we go through the presentation. Thank you.
Yeah, so can we start now, Swati? I think all of you who will go forward in this project with us will eventually interact with Swati. She is a person who interacts with parents and helps them to get all the information that they require. She's the one who is behind the screen, so to say. If you could share the brochure, Swati, then we'll make the presentation to the parents.
Yes, ma'am. I'll share the screen.
Rahul, would you like us to show the walkthrough first?
I think that would give a good.
Have you ever wondered where you will live for the rest of your life? A happy place for people with autism, their families and friends is coming up at Hosur in 2025. Welcome to our beautiful world. We are Lakshmi and Jayanti. We are 19 years old and we have autism. This is going to be our new home from 2025, where we will learn to live independently with many friends who have autism and special needs. Our home, the Together community, is part of a very big campus of 45 acres called Sri Shankara Colony. Vedanta is building 80 villas here called Vedanta Utsav for senior citizens. There is a lot of open space here and temples and a beautiful lake outside the campus. Come, let us take you inside the Together community. This is where our parents will live in beautiful independent villas. We will come and spend time with our parents in the villas. Our parents too will come over to the studio apartments as house parents and to spend time with us.
మనం చేయమంటే స్నాక్స్ కూర్చోట్లా అందరూ చేయండి మనమే స్నాక్స్ పోవాలండి దోశ
Request parents to please mute themselves. Thank you. As we walk ahead, you will see a big park with a lot of trees, flowers, and an open gym. Here is a swimming pool for all of us. We are also going to run a small shop here to sell the products that we make. This way leads to our studio apartments. This entire zone is vehicle free for our safety and comfort. As you enter the studio apartment building, you will see two separate sections for men and women. There are CCTV cameras in our studio apartments and across common areas of the campus for our safety. Circled around a beautiful central courtyard that we can all look into and get a pleasant breeze. Our studio apartments are thoughtfully designed with an acrylic door to help the caregivers see us. There is also a grill door to every apartment so we can wave or call out to the caregiver. The studio apartments open into a large living room that has group caregivers to support us 24/7. There will also be a house parent by turn in the common area to support us. Every studio apartment has separate beds and wardrobes for the special adult and the individual caregiver. There is an attached washroom and the balcony has safety grills. Next door is the primary health center with a 24/7 ICU trained nurse, ambulance, and a doctor on call. Let us walk into the skill center building. Here is the cafeteria where we will have our meals with friends, visitors, and all our parents. We have our own gymnasium and games room. This is our skill center where we will train and work in many areas. Our community hall is split into two parts for both indoor and outdoor get-togethers on
Janani?
weekends. We
Janani?
have lots of space to walk around Please mute both yourselves. inside
Janani?
and outside the Request together everybody to community. mute. We have our own temple. We also have many neighbors across Sri Shankara Colony and Vedanta Utsav for senior citizens. We are looking forward to coming here and starting our journey towards independent living. Come and meet us, our friends with special needs, and our big circle of parents, caregivers, and professionals at the Together community. Yeah, thank you, Shreya. So, the walkthrough basically gave you an idea about how the project will actually look. And one of the things that I just want to mention here is that this is not some kind of a marketing walkthrough. Please don't get me wrong. This is exactly how the project will look. Sitting in front of you are two parents, and also people from Vedanta who are seriously committed to this project. And as Mr. Anand said, who have an emotional attachment to this project and are aware about the sanctity of the services that they are offering to us. So this is not some kind of a marketing gimmick. We are doing this for the common collective welfare of our children and all the parents, and for the future that you and I cannot see, and for a future in which you and I will always not be there. There is going to be a point of time when the together community will be there, our children will be there, but we will not be there. So this is being done in all seriousness, and it's being done to secure the quality of life of our children. So what you have seen in the walkthrough is how the project is going to look. Because you see, I had this question when I saw the walkthrough for the first time. The first thing I did was to pick up the phone and call Rahul Sabharwal and ask him, Rahul, this walkthrough looks so nice. Is this how it's going to be? And he told me that this is exactly what it is going to be. And I remember Mr. Anand telling me that in a walkthrough, in the rendering, the drawings that you see in the brochure, if we show that the tile is red color Sangeeta, when the parents come to the community, that color should be red. Whatever we have said we will do, that is how it's going to look. So this is not a visual imagery that is being created, where when you come to the project, you see something else. We are accountable for what we are showing you. We are accountable for what we are saying will happen, because we are also parents. We are also going to be moving there with our daughters, and our children are as vulnerable and as gifted and as capable as all the children who are going to join the community. So we have a responsibility towards them. So this is just to reassure you, as far as the walkthrough is concerned. We'll start presenting the brochure now and take you through different aspects. Once the brochure is shown, once we are done with it, you can ask your questions, or you can put it in the chat box. I also urge you one more time, please note down the numbers which have been put in the chat box. The application form for the project has also been put in the chat box. You can send us a WhatsApp message. You can ask for more information. You can ask for a separate online meeting with us, which is what we typically do with every parent who wants to join the community. We have a one-on-one online meeting with them, after which they may choose to come and actually see the site for themselves before they go ahead with the project. So Swati, Shreya, if any of you can just share the brochure, please. Thank you. Yeah. So as we have already told you that this project is a joint joint effort of Together Foundation along with Vedanta Senior Living. You can go into the websites of both organizations to have an idea of the work that we are doing. Let's go to the next page, please. I think we've gone far ahead. Yeah. If you could scroll to the next page. Yeah. So this brochure is something that will come into your WhatsApp for all of you to go through at leisure, provided you send us a WhatsApp message, because we need your number and we can send it to you and you can go through it at your own pace. Yeah. So let's just go to the next page, please. Yeah. So right now we have given you the location highlights we've already discussed with you. So basically this is a 45-acre campus, which is known as Sri Shankara Colony at Hosur. And in this 45-acre campus, we have carved out a space which is called the Together Community. When you enter the campus, in fact, when you do a site visit, you will see that the Together Community is the first project when you enter the campus. It's a complete campus in itself. Our project will have all the facilities that our adults require within its four walls. Having said that, the nice thing is that we have a lot of neighbors. So when our children step out for a walk, even outside the campus, they will see people from all walks of life moving around. And in terms of accessibility, I have already explained to you. It is given over here. It's around 2.5 hours away from Bangalore airport. It's around 15 to 17 minutes away from Hosur railway station. It is around 25 minutes from Hosur bus stand. And it around between 7 minutes to 45 minutes. Mind you, this is something that I've personally clocked on my watch when I have traveled from the site. Within 7 minutes to 45 minutes, you have a range of hospital care which is available for us. You have a small hospital called Metro. Then 15 minutes away, you have the reputed Kaveri Hospital. You have the Hosur Government Hospital. 45 minutes away, you have Narayana Hridayalaya. So what typically Vedanta Senior Living does for all its communities is they register themselves, the entire community, with a good hospital, so that if at all we require medical care, we don't have to start the process from scratch. Apart from that, you're around 20 minutes away from the restaurants where you can go out for a bite to eat. Why I'm trying to tell you this is, parents are also going to be a part of the community. So there will be two kinds of outings that our children will have. One is when the together community as a whole, we take all the adults out for an outing. Another is the parents are living in the same campus. So you may decide on a Friday evening that I want to take my daughter out for a cup of coffee. I want to take my son out for a plate of idli. So you don't have to travel for 1.5 hours in order to access a restaurant. You can go for a meal as a family without getting into a lot of effort.
Please mute yourself.
Please request you to mute yourself, ma'am. Yeah, so let's go to the next page, please. So reaching the together community, we have put it out for you here in terms of the airport, the bus stand, the railway station, as well as other facilities. We'll proceed now.
The idea of just sharing is that it is easily accessible to your basic travel requirement, the hotel, eating out, and also most importantly, the medical facility. These are something, it is not something in a remote place where we are not able to access. Yeah. Once again, may I request all of you to put on mute. I think we have been repeatedly requesting, I think, in the interest of others. Yeah, move next.
Let's proceed, please. Swati, could you identify who is not muted and request them separately? Maybe they can't hear us. I have a feeling, otherwise they would have done it by now. Rahul, can I continue?
Sure, Sangeeta.
Are we audible?
Yes, absolutely.
Rahul?
Yes, Sangeeta, you're audible. Please go ahead.
Yeah, but I can hear a lot of other voices as well. Could we request the parents to mute, please? Swati, is there any way in which you can mute everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you please do that?
Yes.
There's a
Could
person,
you do a mute all, please?
Subhajit B, that is need to be muted. Subhajit B.
No, only Swati can do that. Only the host can do it. So shall we continue?
Yeah, please go.
Yeah, so quickly now, because I'm sure parents also want to, have the details. So this is a role of parents. Now, this is a very general, note that we have put up here to give you an idea of how parents will be involved. But there is a deeper involvement also, which CP will talk to you about when we come to the actual structure of the community, how it has been structured, how the parents will actually participate in the governance that CP will talk to you about. But to put it in very simplistic terms, when a parent asks me, Sangeeta, as long as I am there, my child is safe. What happens when I am not there? So that is the whole premise of the project. Otherwise, why would we want to uproot ourselves and go somewhere else? Unless we are assured that our children will be taken care of and we are not there, what is the point of doing all this? So the whole idea is there will always be a deep parental involvement from every family that joins the Together community. So what happens is parents will take up specific responsibilities on joining of whatever area they feel they can contribute to. So we will have separate committees made, one for, let's say, the food and beverages, one for games and exercises, one for the vocational training center, one for the temple and for other, meeting points in the campus. There could be one for picnics and outings and things like that. So, and there'll be one which will be related to finances, accounts, and things like that. So there will be parents playing a role and taking up specific responsibilities, though the day-to-day management, the overall management of the campus will be done by Vedanta Senior Living, which is also developing this campus. This entire structure is being created, built by Vedanta Senior Living for us, and they will continue to manage it for us and provide all the services. However, services which are specific to people with autism and disabilities, such as training for the caregivers, the vocational training for all the adults, all that will be done by Together Foundation. So parents will be playing a role across areas. So why are we doing this? So that over a period of time, the concept of common welfare, community welfare is built. This is not something which can happen overnight. This can happen only when we spend time together as a community, get to know each other's children, know when somebody is all right, know when somebody is not all right. So these are all areas where parents will actually nurture and govern the community and be in touch with whatever is happening in the community and know the actual ins and outs of the management of the place. Yeah, let's continue.
Next page.
Yeah, so these are essential amenities which we are providing all our special adults. So what happens is how the project is structured is you have villas, individual villas for the parents, and you have studio apartments for the adults. So the moment we hear the word studio apartment, one part of us feels proud and happy that, oh, my child has a studio apartment of his own. The other part of us is scared that how will he live in an apartment on his own? So I just want to explain to you, studio apartment is a word used to describe the independent accommodation of your child. You have to imagine a large living room with independent rooms, small apartments on either side of the living room. So what happens is our children will get a room of their own. This room is called a studio apartment because it has been designed in such a way that it meets all their requirements. At the same time, it is not so big that they cannot cope with it. So we have a room with a separate bed for the caregiver in case he requires a one-on-one caregiver. Every studio apartment or room is equipped with a separate bed for the caregiver, separate wardrobe for the caregiver, separate bed for the special adult, separate wardrobe for the special adult, plenty of place for them to keep their things, an attached bathroom with all the safety measures, a beautiful balcony with grills. They can have their own TV and AC if they want. So that is called a studio apartment. And it will have an acrylic door. through which the caregivers, the common caregivers in the living room can easily see what is going on. Not only will it have an acrylic door, it will also have a grill door. So we will be encouraging our children right from the beginning. Don't close the main door, you close only the grill door. So what happens is you actually see people. You can see the adult, he can wave out to you, you can wave out to him, you can call out something to him. The group caregiver can actually shout out and say, Rahul, it's time to sleep. Why are you wandering around? Go to sleep now. He can call out that I want something. So it's like a home. It is not secluded. Our children are not going to be away in their own studio apartments where nobody knows what's going on. It is all super connected living. Super connected living. We will also have house parenting. So parents by turns will go and actually patrol that area, sit there, read a book and spend time, right? So this is as far as the apartment is concerned, because that is the most significant part of the community living. All parents are concerned about it, so I'll spend more time here.
So you could also
Apart from that, yeah,
you
please.
could also see some on this particular slide, what are the various facilities, amenities available?
Yeah, I'm coming to that. So we are going to have a skill development center, and you must have seen that in the walkthrough. There is a cafeteria where all of us will have our meals, parents as well as the special adults. These will be vegetarian meals. There's a community hall where we can all meet for weekly gatherings, meetings, whatever we want to do as a group. We will have our own temple where we can all meet. And of course, you can, I think, take it as a premise that there will be separate accommodation for men and women, for boys and girls, as far as the studio apartments are concerned. Every floor will have group caregivers in the living room, in the main living room, and inside the studio apartment, there will be an individual caregiver if that adult needs. Now, how to find out whether your adult requires individual caregiver or does not require? That is discussed when you fill the application form. That yes, I want to be a part of the Together community. I want to know more. When you fill the application form, you will be asked to provide certain details, which will help us to understand whether your child requires individual caregiver or not. And when you proceed in the admission process, once you're happy with our project, you like our project, you will also have a meeting with our medical committee, which consists of senior and eminent pediatricians, psychologists, therapists, psychiatrists, who will also help you to understand whether your child requires one-on-one caregiving or will be able to manage with group caregiving. So this is a joint decision that will be taken. And not only that, this decision is also open to review. So it's highly possible that today our child requires one-on-one caregiving. But maybe 2 years from now, he will settle down very well and will be able to manage with a group caregiver. So it's not that if you enter the community with a one-on-one caregiver, that's how it is always. It is open to review. And we also have our own swimming pool, which is a very big advantage of the community, where we will have access to our own swimming pool and it will not be depending on outside permissions. And as CP also explained to you, it's a super connected community where we have lots of neighbors. We have the people living in Sri Shankara colony across the 45-acre campus. And something really nice is we also have Vedanta, which is already developing an 80-villa project right down the road. When I say down the road, I mean within Sri Shankara colony.
800 meters.
You know, they are developing, their villas are already up. So when you go to the site, you will actually see the beautiful sample villas that they have made for parents, which is also a lot like how our villas will look. Yeah, let's proceed, please. So services for parents, if I can request Rahul to talk about this, please.
So, We are building a separate area.
Rahul, we can't hear
actually-
you. Could you speak louder?
Can you hear me?
Little.
I'm actually in public areas and wearing the headphones. Is it better?
Not much actually. CP,
Yeah,
do you want to
I
go?
will do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we have covered it. We're going to have 40 villas community. So we have, if not, we kept it very optimum size. So each parent will have an independent villa. We normally have a size of around 1,200 plot area or 1,500 plot area. Some plots are little bigger than that, but mostly it is 1,200 or 1,500. As I think we have covered, it's a parent group that will contribute nurturing the community. The housekeeping for the studio apartment and villa and common area will be provided by Vedanta Senior Living as part of their services. As we have already covered, it's an access to Sri Shankara Colony, which we have a long walking area. We will have a 2-acre park, which is next to the Vedanta Senior Living, which our adults and our parents of the special adults can also access. We will have a cafeteria which will serve vegetarian meal, breakfast, lunch, dinner. We will also have a primary health center or a medical support center, which a trained ICU nurse and doctor on call and certain paramedical facility available. There will be a community hall for the gathering of event in the skill center building. We already have a temple in that Sri Shankara Colony, a Sai Baba temple. But we also made a provision or a space for a temple to be also within the Together community if required. And there is also going to be a temple in the premises of the Vedanta Senior Living. So we will have 3 temples for spending the evening, having a bhajan or having a satsang or having a community gathering on, say, festivals, whether it is a New Year, Diwali, Holi. So it will be a congregation area. So that's it. Let's move to the next page, Shreya. This is a daily routine for a life of a special adult. I would request Sangeeta to talk about it on this particular thing. What will our special adults do? How the day in a life of a special adult look like, and how it will be different for different special adults. Won't be something which one fits all, because each of the special adults will have his own daily routine. But at the same time, how do we maintain certain amount of discipline, certain amount of schedule?
Yeah. So you have the lives of our children is not restricted to either the studio apartment or, for that matter, the skill training center. So they have a nice big place in which they can do a lot of things. So having said that, people with autism and people with special needs, for that matter, all of them benefit from a good routine, a good schedule, and a certain amount of regularity. So having said that, what happens is the morning hours, the first 2 hours of the morning is dedicated to getting up, getting ready, having bath, brushing, blah, blah, personal hygiene, getting all that. All that will be done with the help of the group caregiver or the individual caregiver based on the skill set of the adults. Once they're ready for the day, they all proceed for breakfast to the cafeteria. And there also, as I said, they will never be wandering around the campus on their own. They will either go on groups with a group caregiver, or they will go on their own with their one-on-one caregiver. So wherever they go, there will always be somebody to anchor them, somebody to keep an eye over them. They go have their breakfast. Now, once they have their breakfast, there are different things that they can do. So some of them will be in a position to report to the vocational training area, go there and sit with different work areas and start working depending on what are the vocational training areas that we establish there. Now, if you ask me what are going to be the areas of vocational training, skill development there, it's going to be divided into 2 parts. One part will be only skill development. So for example, teaching of painting, coloring, stuff like that. Another part will be commercially driven activities where we will actually tie up with different organizations in and around Hosur, and we actually manufacture products which are which have a market outside. So our adults will be engaged in manufacture of products. We could, for example, choose to set up our own bakery. We could choose to set up any manufacturing unit, provided we get a good market for it. So these are all things that will be decided and set up when we actually enter the community. So this is something that Together Foundation has a lot of experience in. In Bombay, when we set up a vocational training center in 2015, we had only one microwave, and we said that we are going to start a bakery. Now it's 6 or 7 years since we set up. If you come to the foundation today at Bombay, there are so many things that we are doing. There are so many tasks that our children are learning to perform. So the scope for vocational training is immense. But we should also ensure that we don't waste the time of our children. Our children should be meaningfully engaged, and they should be making things which have a market. So that is something which will be done, it can be done. There will be a set of adults who in the morning may benefit more from going straight for physical exercise and swimming. The others who go for vocational training, once they finish with their working hours, then they will go for swimming and for physical exercise. Physical exercise and swimming is going to be a very big part of our lives. It will take place at least once or even twice a day. Apart from this, they will come to the community hall, they will engage with others. I have parents who have asked me for specific teaching programs which Together Foundation conducts at Bombay to be conducted even at Hosur. So of course that will be done. See, when right now Together Community already has 17 parents who have bought into the project and have booked their own villas. The project can accommodate 40 parents, of which 17 have already been booked. So these 17 parents, we have created a support group for them. And we are in the process of helping our adults transition and get ready for moving into the community 2 years from now. So there's a lot of slowly and steadily, we are all working with our children to get them ready to move into the community. So these are all the different things that our children have a scope for doing. As CP said, the temple is also a place where they can meet. Those who want to sing can sing. Those who want to just enjoy the company of others can do that. There's also the outside campus where they can go for long walks. When you come outside Sri Shankara colony itself, there's a beautiful lake, which over a period of time, we are going to develop that place and have a place where we can actually sit and enjoy the atmosphere there. So there are vast opportunities for our adults to be meaningfully engaged in their daily routine. It will not be boring. At the same time, it will have a certain regularity and consistency. Yeah.
Next.
Can
next
we proceed,
page.
please? Yeah, so this we have already covered. I've talked about the different aspects, and I think this can be covered in the questions. There are a lot of questions coming up. So the community map.
I think you saw it in the
this has already been covered.
Walkthrough, you could get a much better glimpse. This is more thing.
So this is Rahul. If you could speak about this, please.
Yeah, can you hear me? Okay, so the studios are located on in a separate block. The studio basically is 21 units per floor. There are identical studios, about 300 square feet of fully furnished studios. Each studio comes with 2 dwelling units. One is for the special event and one is for the.
I'll take it over.
It's very blurred, Rahul.
Yeah. So just to take from what Rahul left, we're going to have a separate studio block. There are going to be 3 parcels of building. One, as I said, will be villa. The second will be the skill center. And the third will be the studio block. Studio block is going to be a ground plus 1 and certain provision for certain studios on the second floor. This will be a furnished 300 square feet individual unit. As we alluded earlier, this studio apartment will open to a big living room type of area where there will be a group caregiver, there will be a place to come and sit outside. It's like you can imagine that you've got a 4 or 5 bedroom house and it get open to a common area. And this will always have a disability friendly bathroom. As Sangeeta was mentioning, each of the studio apartment we are provided with a balcony with the idea that the special adults can just peep out and look out. A lot of special children have and want to look out what is happening, enjoy the beautiful weather of Hosur, which I've experienced. It's always 2-3 degrees lower than even Bangalore, and it is less polluted than Bangalore. Each of the studio apartment will come with a wardrobe for the special adults as well as the caregiver. There will be a study desk for the special adult. As Sangeeta was mentioning, we're going to create a separate area. The ground floor will have, say, 21 studio. We're going to earmark 11 or 10 studio for female special adults and rest of it for male special adult. There's going to be a common area for relaxation, caregiver workstation. It's very thoughtfully designed, both keeping the what you call the separate space for the special adult, but at the same time to have a connected living, but at the same time also look at the safety and security. One of the things which probably this project, especially the studio apartment, we were very mindful. We're going to create a central courtyard, which is going to be a beautiful 2,000 square feet of a central courtyard, where every studio apartment can have a thing, and the special adults can come and spend some time in the central courtyard. We are imagining to create a beautiful sitting place with a lot of greenery, trees around in the central courtyard. Even when you come out of the outside the studio apartment, there will be a lot of greenery and space. We will have, it's going to be getting connected to the swimming pool area. It's going to get connected to the garden area. So there will be a lot of greenery around this place. That's what we have imagined it to be. And I'm sure we will make that happen in the way in which the studio apartment is the most sought after living space for all of us.
Can we go to the next page? Yeah.
I think this is what I have described to you. If you can see the central, I would say gray area, that is the central courtyard. This is how the layout of the 21 studio apartment in the ground floor and 21 studio apartment on the first floor. The idea is we're going to have 40 parents, and the provision is to provide for, say, in the ground and first floor, 42 studio apartments. But we are mindful that our special adults will live beyond our lifetime. So when we pass away and the special adults continue to stay in the allotted studio apartment, we have what you call as a succession planning, or what you call after us what. The parents have a choice that either they can ask the villas, if they want, they can ask the legal guardian to come and live in that place and try to take care of the special adult. Or in case there is no legal guardian who want to come and stay, the parents can sell off the villa. The villa proceeds can go into whatever the parents decide in the will or the testament, saying that what is the proceed should go to. The proceed can go into a trust which is created for the special adult. Once that is done, then naturally that villa will be bought over by another special adult. So we are mindful that when admitting another special adult parent, we need to also provide studio apartment for the special adult who is going to be welcomed at that point of time. So we're going to create around 51 studio apartments as against 40 villas. So we're going to create at least 20% over capacity over the thing. You're seeing two images on this screen. One image is which is the ground or a first floor, and the second image is a second floor image where we are only providing for additional studio apartment, and rest of it is we are leaving it as an open terrace. So this is for any future expansion. So we could have more than 50 even studio apartment, but we are capacitized to see that any new person welcome are able to provide a studio apartment in future. So this is about
Skill and amenity.
skill and amenity center. I was talking to you. There are going to be three blocks: villa, skill and amenity center, and studio apartment thing. In the skill and amenity center, we are equipping with indoor and outdoor dining spaces on the ground floor, which is exclusively vegetarian kitchen. And we are also we are mindful that for running this community, we may require 40 to 50 caregivers, we require support staff. So we also need to create space for their good living. So we have created a separate dining area for the caregiver staff. We also created 4,300 square feet of skill center for special adults. As Sangeeta was mentioning, in Bombay we are doing something the bakery. We are doing data entry. We are making paper bag manufacturing, paper plate manufacturing. But we need to find what is the marketability in say Hosur. We cannot just replicate what we are doing in Bombay and say we will just lift and shift and do that. But if there is no person who want to buy a paper plate manufacturing, why should we waste our efforts of the special adult? But at the same time, if there are a lot of people who want to buy a paper bag or they want to buy a brown bag for the medical pharmaceutical unit, we can create that. So whatever we want to do from there, we will try to first evaluate the potential and do that. The second is we also created a residential accommodation for all the staff. One of the principle is that if you want caregiver to take care of your special adult, it is also equally important for the parents to take care of the caregiver. Unless you take care of them, their need, basic need, give a good environment to sleep, eat, and they also need to spend time with their friends and things, they will not be serving you for long in that environment. We should also be mindful they are leaving their family, parents coming there. We need to create a very, what you call, warm and friendly atmosphere for them also. We're going to have a community hall, open terrace. I think we will have a lot of evening get together, all those things. So we make provision for all those things in the skill center and amenity center. I think there is a 40-bed dormitory we are creating in the second floor of that. This is the picture. This is the picture of the villa. What you see in the picture is also based on the sample villa, which is already there in Sri Shankara Colony in the Vedanta Ustav. The senior living community in Shankara Colony by Vedanta, which is 80 villa project, is branded as Vedanta Ustav. They've already created one sample villa. The lookalike is being projected here. As I said, there are two configurations, 1,200 square feet and 1,500 square feet of land parcel, on which we will construct a 2 BHK, which will have 850 square feet of constructed space or 1,050 on a 1,500 land area. So this is how it will look. Each of these, we will come to that who will own, what is the ownership pattern on the next few more slides, so that it becomes very clear what is the model looks like. Can we move to the next page? The model of the community is that the parent purchase and stay in the villa, that is ownership. That means villa is like buying any other residential property. The most important thing is it is a villa. As you know, that villa comes with certain amount of lot of greenery, individual ownership. Whereas the studio apartment is slightly different. The studio apartment, the land and the construction area is going to be owned by a trust which is created, which is called the Together Community Welfare Trust. And every parent who is going to be a member of this Together community will also be a member of the trust. The trust, there will be two components to it. One, when you buy a villa, you'll have to pay for a price of a villa. You will also need to also give corpus, which is actually akin to deposit. But corpus is something where you will have to give to the trust, which is around 27.5 lakh for the studio apartment. That is to be paid to the trust. So the studio apartment is not ownership. It is allotted for the stay of the special adult till his lifetime. So this entire building and the land is owned by the Together Welfare Community, which all the 40 parents are the members. That is the thing. So we will come to the other aspect, like fill the submit application form. We will cover it at the end of the thing. What does the parents need to do if they want to cover it? We will cover through the price sheet, which is the thing.
Swati, can you open the price sheet, please? And we can just quickly go through it. We can present it to the parents. And we'll be taking questions, so you can, parents, do put up your questions at the end. You can ask your questions.
There are many questions have already come in the chat box.
Yeah, Anand, I think we need to record. We need to give response.
Yeah, we'll respond. We'll just go through the pricing sheet.
Sure.
Can you little make it bigger?
Zoom in, Swati, please. And I can do it for you. Yeah.
So basically, as I was mentioning, there are two configurations. 2 BHK with 1,200 square feet. 854 is the constructed area. This will come only without a car park because of the land area itself small. Basically, if you really look at it, the villa cost is around 82.26 lakhs. That is ownership. The land will be owned by you. The villa will be owned by you. The 27.5 lakh is basically the corpus for the trust. It is once what happens is, suppose you after the lifetime of the parent, as I was mentioning, you can sell your villa. When you sell your villa, the new parent who is coming in will pay you for the villa cost as well as the studio apartment 27.5 lakh. Like now you're paying 1 crore 9 lakhs for the villa of 1,200 square feet of land area and 852 construction area, and which is 82. It is divided between 82.26 lakhs and 27.5 lakhs. So this is something to bifurcation into studio cost as well as studio cost, which is corpus given to the trust 27.5 lakh, and villa cost, which is 82.26 lakh, which of 82 lakh 26,906. And there is a payment schedule which is there. Like when you want to after this presentation, after all you've gone through, you feel this community is the most suitable community for you, for your special adult, you need to do a 5 lakh you need to fill up the form. You need to make sure that we will have a one-on-one meeting with me, Sangeeta, Rahul. Then once you are very clear about all the doubts have been cleared, we will then take your permission to say that you want to meet a medical committee. As Sangeeta was mentioning, it's a panel of doctors who are going to talk to you, talk about your special adult. When you are convinced and the doctors say that they give permission or approval to admit you into the community, then you will have to give a booking amount which is 5 lakhs. That gives you the what you call the intent of interest. That means you are interested in this project. So immediately within a month, within month of that, you will have to pay 20%, which is going to be the booking amount. Then another 20% when you're going to execute the agreement. Then it's stage wise, however the progress we are making, that will be a part of this will be paid for villa as well as part of the corpus. So that is how the schedules look like. Go back to the next slide. Next page, come down. So this is a 1,500 square feet land area where we have with and without car park, where we have 1,030 square feet of built up area. The total cost is around 1.2 CR, which is divided as 93 lakhs 5,000 for villa. The studio refundable amount remains the same at 27.5 lakhs, and other payment schedule remains the same. So this is about the maintenance of 65,000. What we've estimated is that this cost includes the cost of housekeeping, maintenance of the studio apartment, maintenance, housekeeping of the villa where the parent is going to stay, the cost of common caregiver, the cost of running a cafeteria with you require attendance, the cost of running the gardener, housekeeping, security, light and electricity for the entire studio block, right, and electricity for the entire campus. Those are the costs included. What are the costs which is not included in this is parents' food and beverages. Parents have a choice to take food from the cafeteria, or in case they can want to cook at home, that is possible. That additional, we estimate around 13 to 15,000 per couple for parents to take food. That will be in addition to 65,000. The electricity of the studio apartment will be additional. Some parents may want to put an AC, some parents may not want to put an AC, some parents want other things. So electricity is separately metered and will be paid by the parent. Of course, the electricity for the villa, the tax for the villa, that will be additional. This cost include common caregiver, but individual caregiver, in case a special adult require an individual caregiver, requires that cost will be in addition. Currently, it is estimated, I'm sure many of you may be aware, special caregivers will come at the cost of anything on 25,000 to 30,000. But this is this is an estimate we have done in the year 22-23. So when the community start, there will always be certain escalation that will come in. But this is I would say the estimate we have done to the best of the thought process. So what is good about is that all these expenses will be something which we will actually come to know in a transparently what is the cost involved, and it will get divided by 40 parents. So there is nothing markup or anything. There will be a professional fees which will also be transparently paid to Vedanta. Vedanta will not have any markup on any of the actual cost. They will only charge us for running the community for their professional fees. So that is about it. Go down. So I think this I've already covered thing once.
And all this is there in the brochure. See, when you WhatsApp us and we send you the brochure, all these links are there in the brochure. You can study it. This is not something which you can just understand, in this
in
period
5-10
of time.
minutes.
Yeah.
But it requires time to assimilate and also think. We are mindful of that, but we will share it with you. I think it will also give a good idea about what is the economic commitment you have to make, both as a fixed one-time cost as well as part of that. So you can cover villa, floor plan, and villa and studio floor plan if possible.
It is unable to load. Yeah.
So this is how the villa floor plan looks. This is a
Swati, please request for muting.
So this is how the villa floor plan looks for a 2 BHK. As you see, this has got 2 BHK, small kitchenette, small living room, which is a compact 850 square feet area. So this comes with all surrounded by little garden on the both the sides, and a little backyard where you can enter from the backyard also, access from the backyard. So this is the compact villa. Move to the next one. Yeah. This is another configuration, which is 1,500 square feet with 2 BHK with a car park. So the difference between the earlier one and this one is this is with car park and that is not without a car park. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I think we've covered everything. Would you want to?
Can we go to the next page?
Next page. Not this one.
Next page of the brochure, Swati. So this is a profile of Vedanta Senior Living. So if Shreya is here, I will request her to just give you a short talk about Vedanta. She can introduce them to you, the organization.
Yes, am I audible?
Yeah, could you, Swati, I think with this, the presentation is over. So if you could just close the brochure, please.
Yes.
Thank you. And if you, Shreya could speak to us.
Good evening. So just briefly about Vedanta, I think my father had already mentioned the starting of the presentation. We started in about 2015. We have communities in about 5 cities across India today, which is Chennai, Bangalore, Coimbatore, Cochin, and Hosur. We have about 4 to 5 operating communities. We are starting one more in the month of June. Basically, with about 300 residents living across our communities. The management team has been in this industry for the last 15 years with the combined experience of Mr. Rahul and my father, Ananda Padmanabhan. We have been in this industry for the last 15 years or more than that. We've been working with the Together Foundation very closely over the last couple of years, and we've been actively a part of the entire conceptualization aspect, and most of the details which has already been shared, and in thought and philosophy, we are aligned with the Together Foundation in a lot of these things. For any further details about Vedanta, you can always feel free to reach out to me either directly or through Swati. So, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Shreya. So with this, the presentation comes to an end. I've already spoken about Together Foundation to you. I have introduced our organization to you, and we'll put up the website URL of both the organizations in the chat box. Swati, if I could request you to put that down in the chat box, you can always look us up and see the work that we are doing. And I think we should attend to your questions now. There are quite a few questions which parents have put up. So if it's okay with you, I will read out the questions. Where do the caregivers reside? Do they live in the campus after their work hours, or they will commute from outside? So it depends on the kind of staff. As I said, Vedanta will be managing this entire campus for us. Now, caregivers who are working on a one-to-one basis or group caregivers, they will be residing in the campus. And as CP showed you in the presentation, there is accommodation for both of the caregivers in the campus. There are dormitories where they will be put up. And of course, the one-on-one caregivers will be staying with the special adult in the apartment 24/7. And there will also be a small buffer, in case, for example, there is a caregiver who has to go off duty for medical reasons or has to travel to see his family or whatever it is. There will be arrangements made for somebody to take the place of the caregiver. Loan facility available.
Yeah, loan facility is available. It's an approved RERA project. There are banks which give. Even HDFC Limited gives loan. Even if I understand, Punjab National Bank gives loan. Loan is given.
What is the minimum age of the child for enrollment in studio apartment? So typically one would say, see, if you look at the residential communities across the country, there are some where even 7 and 8-year-old children are going in for admission. All the models are different. In the together community, you're looking at a minimum age of at least 16 years for them to start staying in the together community. The thing is that when you look at how do the children adjust to the studio apartment when they come to the together community. So parents have a lot of anxiety about it. How is it going to be dealt? What happens when I enter the community? Will suddenly someone come and hold my child's hand and take him to the studio apartment? How will he cope with this? That's not going to be the way it's going to be done. So the studio apartment is going to be like a family home for all of us. It's not going to be a place where the special adult is segregated. So let me give you the example of my own daughters. We have 2 daughters with autism, Lakshmi and Jayanti. They live with us in Bombay. They are with us all the time. I cook for them. I take care of them. They're under my eyes all the time. So can you imagine, suddenly they both are not staying with us and they are living in a studio apartment. How am I going to make this transition? So let me give you an example of how it will work. So when I moved to Bangalore, this project is going to go live in 2025. So when I come there, what happens is several months in advance, as I said, we have created a support group and we've started the process of working on goals for all our children. Now, several months in advance, I will be talking to my daughters about this. All the parents will be talking to their children about this. They will be sharing videos, they'll be sharing pictures and making them aware of the fact that there's going to be a change in our lives. The studio apartments will have things, objects, pictures, which are currently there in the room in which they are staying at home. So that when they enter the studio apartment, they see things which are familiar to them. When we actually enter the community with my daughters, I will be going to the studio apartment with them. I will not be going to the villa. Why I won't do that is, I want the studio apartment to be the primary home of the family. I don't want my children to see it as second best. This is Amma's house and see, I have to go and stay here. It's not going to be like that. This is my apartment. Amma and Appa come and see me here. This is our family home. So I will be going there with my daughters. We will do the Graha Pravesh there. I will help them to settle down there. But does that mean I'm going to lie down on the bed next to them in that studio apartment? Never. All parents will help their children when they enter the community. We will go to the studio apartment with our children. We will take them there. We will spend time with them there. We will do whatever puja, function, whatever we want. We'll call our relatives. We'll call our friends. We will take pictures. We'll take videos. And we'll make that place the home of our children. We will spend time in the living room waiting for them to settle down. So when they come out of the studio apartment, they will see us. And then gradually over a period of time, they will start spending more and more time in the studio apartment, whereas we will go to the villas. That is number 1. And number 2 is they will come to the villas and they will spend time with us. They will have stayovers, they'll spend Saturday night or they'll spend Sunday, whatever it is. See, all of us parents are going to decide together. And together community, the mental health professionals will give you some guidelines about how to do this. But nobody is going to force you. Nobody is going to come and physically separate you from your child. But also we have to remember, why are we taking so much of effort? Why are we spending money and putting so much of time into doing this? We're doing this because we want our children to start living independently. We want them to accept the studio apartment not as second best, as the best possible, the happiest place that they could be. So this transition is going to be done by the parents for their children. Nobody is going to separate parent and child. It is going to be done facilitated by the together community. So this is as far as the minimum age I told you is 16 years upwards. How much will each
I think
villa
I covered
cost?
it in my talk.
Could you repeat that?
I think
Could you
it's
repeat?
one for a 1,200 square feet, it is 1.06 crore. And for 1,500, it is 1.2 crore, which constitutes of the villa cost as well as the corpus to the Together Community Welfare Trust, which is toward the studio apartment.
And the amount for the studio apartment is
27,50,000.
27,50,000. Okay. So that's one thing. How much is it compulsory for parents have to buy villa along with studio apartment?
Yes, yes, it is right.
Will each studio have a separate washroom? Yes,
Yes.
Definitely. The audios, is there any possibility of getting non-veg meals? So the cafeteria will be serving only vegetarian meals. When your child comes to your villa to spend time with you, by all means prepare a non-veg meal. But should you confuse the child and have him come anytime to have a meal with you, we would not recommend that. As I said, nobody is going to physically separate the children from their parents. It all depends on the cooperation that the parents give. So ideally, what you should do is every studio apartment, we will be helping every adult to have a visual calendar in his apartment. This will be done by the special educators, where they will have a calendar that tells them what to expect from Monday to Sunday, what is going to happen. So those who can read, they will figure out by reading. Those who are picture-based, they will figure out through pictures that these are the days I go to mom's house. This is the day mom makes non-veg for me. This is the day mama takes me out for a meal to eat. So what happens is these things help our children to have a schedule in place. But for example, if you go to the cafeteria and you say, oh, आज तो इडली और उपमा बना है, वो तो नहीं खाएगा, चलो आप आ जाओ, मैं ऑमलेट बना के देती हूँ. If we do that, then we confuse our children. Because then later on, the same parents will say, अरे बाकी सब ट्रांजिशन हो गए, बाकी सब एडजस्ट हो गए, मेरा ही बच्चा है जो अभी भी विला में आता है. So there's no magic here. We have to let our children adjust with others and eat different kinds of food. We have to give them a chance. And the meal plans are going to be shared with us before we move into the community. So at least 6 to 8 months before we move into the community, we will start making those kind of foods at home, so that when our children come and eat in the cafeteria, they are not bombarded with new things, with a new schedule. Is there, one moment, 20 years later, when parents age, how will the center run? See, that's the whole point, na? There will always be new adults who will come in, new parents who will come in, number one. Number two is, as CP told you, there's a Together Parent Welfare Trust, which consists of all the parents who will have a say in the governance of the studio apartments and the lives of the studio, the special adults who are living in the studio apartments. There will be an executive committee. There will be a trust which will run the entire place.
So just to recap, what we have envisaged is that day-to-day management, whether it is housekeeping, whether it is food and beverages, whether it is the security, whether it is maintenance and upkeep, it will be very professionally run through Vedanta Senior Living. So we don't, as a parent, don't concentrate on this. They are best to do this. So for which they will charge the professional fee. They will also be able to help us to get the caregiver whom they will do basic training. Then we Together Foundation will have to do autistic training, and parents will play a big role because parents understand their ward better than nobody else. So it will be a three-pronged approach. Now your question after 20 years when parent age, that is where I said that we have 40 villa and we have created 52 to studio apartment. The idea is when one of the parent passes away, the villa becomes empty and the new parent will buy that villa. Whereas we need to also give provision for the studio apartment. That's why we envisage that for 40 villa, we have not created 40 studio apartments. We have created 52. And not only that, we can even create more. There is space. Second aspect is that we are going to have a resident director and a warden. Warden will take care of the studio apartment, managing all the caregivers, monitoring and all. Resident director will be overall responsible for entire community. So these are professionally run person whose continuity, he does it for a living. But overall governance and supervision will be along with Vedanta, the parent executive committee. The executive committee will, there will be some of the members of executive committee who will play a more permanent role, and there will be a part of executive committee who will be keep on rotating from parents elected by the parent. So every, as Sangeeta was also mentioning, saying that every parent will play a very active role and they need to be more participative. That somebody will be into a food and beverage committee, somebody will be into a garden committee, somebody will be into leisure committee, somebody will be into, say, activity committee, somebody will say skill center, somebody for say once in 6 months we want to get our children medically checked up. There will be a medical thing. So there are various activities the parents can get involved. The idea is, can parent do by 24/7 this job? Answer is no. Can they spend at least 4 or 5 hours, dedicate themselves to do this cause? Answer is yes. As we age, we may be very active when we are in 60, 65, 70. As we go to 80, probably we may not be mobile also. We may be in our villas, we may not. But can we actively mentally participate? Answer is yes. That time may not be physically able to participate. But there will be a lot of professionals who will be carrying through. Further, we will also have different age group of parents. Today, even when today the 70 odd parents, people are already cross 60. There are people who just cross 50. There are people who just in the early 50. So there is a mix of age. Beyond biological age, we don't know what is there, how many, we know how much money we have in our bank account, but we don't know how much of time we have in our life. So that uncertainty is only making us come together. That uncertainty is only making us to develop this community.
See, there's something here. Upper age limit, there is no
No, that we have done.
upper age
No,
limit,
no,
CP,
no,
not
not
lower
upper.
age limit.
No, what the question is, 20 years later.
No, CP, this question. Upper age limit, there is no upper age limit as such. Okay. So we have adults right now. If you look at the adults who have joined us, I think the youngest is around 14 years old. By the time he enters the community, he'll be 16 plus. And the oldest we have is in his 30s. So it can even go upward. You could have somebody who's even in his 40s and upwards. As long as there is a family who's ready to move into the community along with him. It can be parents, it can be a sibling, it can be a legal guardian, but the project is designed in such a way that the family buys a villa and a responsible family member moves into the villa to be a part of the management of the community, and the adult moves into the studio apartment. This is the model. So who the family member is depends on who is available in the family to move into the community. 1 second. Is there a ballpark figure for a corpus to be held by the individual beneficiary trust for the special adult for the lifespan to meet the monthly maintenance cost, which is INR 65K? This will provide parents with an idea of size of the trust fund beyond the initial 1.2 crore capital cost.
Yeah, we have done some calculation. I would say that it's an estimate. So today we have inflation is around 6 to 7%, and a safe return is around 6 to 7%. Today it can even go to 8%, but 6-7% is an assumption. When you have a inflation of 6-7%, that is also assumption. Nobody can predict a very long 25-year inflation, and nobody can predict even the return on safe investment. But taking both into account, we estimate around 2 CR will be a good amount to put gradually over a period of time. But what we are insisting and we are recommending is every parent who is going to be part of the Together community, create a private trust for the benefit of the special adult and try to put the corpus. Some parents do ask me, I've got some land in my native place, farmland. I've got 2-3 flats in some city. Will that not be enough? So I asked the question to very clearly that the special adults, most of the special adults do not have understanding about economic, neither money. They will not be able to sell your farmland and after your lifetime and put that corpus into income generating asset. We need to be very clear that it has to be an income generating asset. When I say income generating asset, what are those income generating assets? It could be a bank deposit, or it could be a debenture. It could be a government of India bond. All these things are actually income generating. So 2 CR will be a right thing to do.
I'll just go to the other questions. What is the minimum age? How much each villa? Is it compulsory parents have to buy the villa? All this I think we have answered. Where is the vocational training center at Bombay? And the contact number, I have given you my contact number. You could WhatsApp me. I'll send you the address. You can always, those of you who are in Mumbai and even outside, when you come to Mumbai, you're more than welcome to visit us and see the center.
Yes, the question should be moved in compulsorily in 2025. This needs to be answered.
Yeah, so I mean, see, the thing is that the project will come alive, will be filled with life only when people join, right? So the project is going to come live within 2025. So ideally, we are looking at parents moving in 2025 or maximum at least in 2026. Why is that? Because you can imagine when you move into the community, if all the parents say that I'll come after 2 years, I'll come after 3 years, I'll come after 4 and 5 years. One is the cost of the project will become prohibitively expensive because whatever the running costs are have to be shared by the parents. So you will be paying for it even when you're not staying there, which doesn't make sense. Second thing is, we want our children to be surrounded by people. We don't want our children to be lonely. So when you come there, if you see only 5 or 6 families, what will you think? Arey Baba, मैं इसके लिए आया हूँ यहाँ पे कि मैं 5 परिवार के साथ रहूँ यहाँ पे. So as a parent community, we should all look at moving in within 1 to 2 years of the community going live. If not 2025, move in by 2026 and start the journey of helping our children. See, you and I are mentally prepared that 2 years from now, we are going to move to another place. What about our children? Can you imagine what a huge transition this is going to be for them? And the older they grow, the more time it's going to take. So from every point of view, from the point of view of managing the community, from the point of view of economics, from the point of view of giving a social structure to our children, from every point of view, the sooner we move in, the better. We are in Chennai now. How will it be practically suitable for us? So in the case of our family, for instance, I'm going to be moving in with Lakshmi and Jayanti. CP will move in later because he has his work commitments in Mumbai. We also have 2 more children who also need us. One of them is going to college in Bangalore. One of them is going to college in Bombay. So we can't just leave them high and dry and push off as a family. So we are splitting it into 2 parts. Frankly, I'm also in a hurry to start the journey for Lakshmi and Jayanti. I want them to start the process of transition. It will take them a couple of years at least to accept a new place, to accept the people around them, and to start looking at others as family members. I want all our children to go beyond mother and father and see it as a larger home where there are kind people around them and where they don't have to ask only their mother for help. They can ask somebody else also. But that comes only with acceptance. And the journey of acceptance takes time. There is no ready-made formula for it. Is there any question I'm missing? Can someone help me? Funding requirements, catalog and financial implications. Yes, we'll send it to you by mail. The walkthrough showed an area with slide and swing. Would we need this for adolescents and adults? Or can we replace it with an outdoor play court for say badminton or throw ball or something like that? So we have shown it, we've shown you the slide and the swing. There's basically going to be a sensory park. There are also going to be some things which our children never outgrow. See, they have a childlike quality to them and they enjoy certain activities even when they grow older. I'm sure you've seen in a park when we take our grown children, many of them show a longing for going down the slide, which is also a good thing for them. Swings, for example. Swinging is also very, very, very good and it has therapeutic benefits for them. So definitely even your inputs will be taken in terms of having the badminton court and stuff like that. In fact, we are going to have our own clubhouse where there's going to be a proper gymnasium with treadmill and exercycle and all those things. And it's also going to have those indoor games, right? Table tennis and all those things. It's going to have that. What is the caregiver to special adult ratio? So that depends on, as I said, if you look at the number of special adults living in a particular area, it depends on how many of them have one-on-one caregiving and how many of them are under group caregiving. So at the time of admission, if you have decided, along with the help of the medical committee, that your child requires one-on-one caregiving, then yes, he will have a dedicated caregiver of his own. Now, suppose, let's say, in a particular area, all 6 adults or all 7 adults have group caregivers. They don't require one-on-one caregiving. Then in that case, the caregiver will be 1:3 or 1:4. It all depends on the needs of the adult. So what happens is when you have a meeting with a medical committee, that's when these things get decided. And before you actually move into the community in 2025, you will have one more meeting with the medical committee. So let's presume for a moment, in June 2025, I'm going to move in with, I will be moving in earlier than that with Lakshmi and Jayanti. So 1 month before I move into the community, my daughters will meet the medical committee in person. So depending on that meeting in person, the placement of my daughters will be decided. Will they be more in the group caregiver unit or will they be where one-on-one caregiving is given? So these are not things which can be decided without seeing the special adult. How are the caregivers trained? I think that I've already covered with you. CP has also told you that caregiver training is done by 3 units. One is Vedanta will give us caregivers who are trained in basic caregiving. Together Foundation will give autism or special needs specific trained caregiving. And the parent will play a role in interacting with the caregiver and given a written documented checklist for what are the things that that particular adult requires in terms of caregiving. Are there structured activities? Yes. How is the staff trained? Yes, I have discussed that with you. There's going to be autism trained, special needs trained professionals. What skills do they expect to teach at the skill center? I've already covered with you. How is the special adult funded for lifetime? That has been discussed. What happens to the parent's villa after lifetime? That has also been discussed, that the parent already nominates in advance that after the lifetime of the parent, the villa is sold and the parent has put that structure into place. Whether that amount goes to, let's say, the other child of the parent or whoever the parent has nominated, or the parent may say that this amount must go into the private trust of my special adult. Whatever it is the parent who has to do all this well in advance. That's a part of the protocol of the community. You will be guided for all these things.
There is one last question, Shigita.
At the end, is it? Other than vocational skill development, any other academic aspect or education will be taken care of for specially abled children? What about their employment aspects so that they can independently earn for themselves? So there is no academic input that is being planned now. But as I said, this is a parent-driven community. All of you are going to come and stay there. All of you are going to be a part of the management of the community. If the parents together decide that, yes, it is going to be beneficial for us to have an academic program, we will do it. As far as employment is concerned, if the special adult is in a position to travel independently and work in the open environment, why not? Because Hosur is famous for being an industrial heavy area. In the 1 month that I spent in Bangalore, I made several visits to Hosur in order to lay the groundwork for the vocational training unit. I met the owners of several small scale industries, told them about our upcoming project. I was introduced to the president of the Small Scale Industries Association. I have become a part of the Bakery Association of Hosur, all this 2.5 years in advance. So there are many opportunities, but as a parent, you have to evaluate and give us your own opinion, or whether you feel that your child is ready to travel and be in the open environment. If so, then the Together community will also play a role and facilitate and help find such opportunities. Anything which can be meaningfully done and make sure that our adult is safely engaged. Any workplace has to ensure safety, dignity, and meaningful engagement. These three things we have to make sure that it is being taken care of. If so, then they can go ahead and do it. Any other questions? Have I missed anything? Do you plan any medical treatment in the premise itself? So medical treatment is something, as parents, all of us have been through years of it after our children were diagnosed. Right? If you throw your mind back to those early days, when we realized that our children are not like other children, we spent several years, all of us, I can talk for all of us and say that we have tried every intervention in the book to see whether there is some kind of cure for our children. Having said that, we've now come to a stage where we accept our children for their strengths and their challenges. We've come to a stage where we respect them for what they can do and are ready to help them move on. But if there are any specific treatments they require, suppose there's somebody who specifically requires occupational therapy or specifically requires some kind of Ayurvedic treatment, please remember that any cost has to be shared by all the parents collectively. So if it is something which is very, very individual in nature, it will have to be accessed outside. The parents will have to access it outside. Again, Together community will be a facilitator here in whatever way possible. If, as far as medical emergencies go, medical care goes, that is a different aspect altogether. For that, a medical pathway will be created. There's a 24/7 ambulance in the premises. There's a 24/7 ICU trained nurse. There is a doctor on call. There's a medical committee whom we can call. As I said, Vedanta will have a tie-up with a very good hospital where we can go for emergency treatment. That is all as far as medical care. In terms of therapeutic intervention, if it is individual in nature, it will have to be taken care of on an individual basis. Acha, okay. Provision for 2 cots. What happens when the adult does not need an individual caregiver? It will be vacant. Yeah, I guess they can be employed in the Vedanta community also. Yes, of course, if there's an opportunity, nothing like it. For most autism, what about other disabilities? Yes, we are accepting adults with other disabilities. As again, I come back, as I said, there's a medical committee. These are not decisions that we take randomly as individuals. There's a process being followed for everything because this is a lifetime decision. When you come to a place like this, it is not on an experimental basis. For all of us, for every parent, this is a huge one-time decision. So it's taken very carefully, and you will be submitting a detailed application form. You will be having a detailed one-on-one meeting with us, after which you will have a one-on-one meeting with the medical committee. So based on that, other disabilities can be taken, should not be an issue.
I think we have answered all the questions which has been posted on the chat box, and we also shared in detail the walkthrough and also the brochure. And we also shared the numbers, and I'm sure once you go through that, you may have questions. So in the interest of time, of all of us, if you feel that you need to get more answers on an individual basis, please WhatsApp. You can definitely ask for a one-on-one meeting also. We'll be more than happy to clarify any of your doubt.
Anything that you want to ask now, you can unmute and ask. Parents, if there's something that you want to bring up now, please unmute and put it up. So can we conclude this meeting with your permission of parents?
Yes, please.
So I'm putting up the website details of Together Foundation. You can look into we have also put up the application form details for those who want to apply to the community. And also our Facebook page link, please join the page and like the page, so you will get automatic updates. So if you go to the chat box, you can take all these things. Otherwise, WhatsApp us, we will send it to you separately. Thank you so much for all your time, and keep in touch with us, please. Thank you, Mr. Anand. Thank you, Rahul. Thank you,
Thank
Shreya
you.
and Swati.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sangeeta.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Presentation.
Thank you.